Hi, Anna at the Sewing Studio here, and this video is all about the Janome Memory Craft 550E LE embroidery machine. I'm going to talk you through all its features. I'll show you everything that comes in the box. We'll do some embroidery, I'll show you how to thread it and its capabilities, and then I'll talk a bit about warranty and support. Now we've split all of those into chapters, so if there's a particular section you're interested in, feel free to head straight there. So as I say, the Janome 550E is a standalone embroidery machine. It's quite a large machine, but this is kind of as big as it gets. Because the carriage arm for the hoops is in the middle here, you're not adding any space to the side. When you're using the large hoop, the hoop does come out this way a bit, but it's not encroaching too much. And the maximum embroidery area on this machine is 200 by 360 millimeters. That's massive, it's around 8 by 14 inches. And if you want to see what that looks like, that's this one here. So that's the biggest embroidery that you can achieve, but for a domestic machine, that is quite a big deal. It does come with some other size hoops as well for when you're doing those smaller designs, and I'll show you those when we get to the what's in the box section. Now in terms of setting up the machine itself, it's very easy to do. Threading the needle is all numbered for you, and there's a really easy needle threader built in as well. With regards to the bobbin, it's a drop-in system, so a top loading, very easy to do, and you've got the quick set where you can lay the thread in and there's no need to draw up the bobbin thread. When it comes to the presser foot, you've got extra lift there which helps to get the hoops in underneath. Now in terms of the built-in designs on this machine, there's 160 different ones to choose from, and they're all within the nice big colour touch screen here, and there's 11 different fonts in there for you to choose from as well. Now within those designs you are able to edit them, so you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, you can turn them, you can copy them, all sorts of stuff that you can do, and I'll delve into some of that when we get into the sewing section. Now if those designs aren't enough for you, or if there's some particular ones that you want to embroider out, you can add your own designs to this machine, and that's very simply via a USB stick which plugs into a port on the side here. You'll be pleased to hear that the machine has an automatic thread cutter, so it's going to take care of all those jump stitches within the design for you, and it also has automatic tension, so there's nothing that you need to be adjusting there. Now in terms of what comes in the box, the machine will arrive like this, with one spool cap on the top here and the embroidery foot already installed, and a range of accessories including a USB stick. There's the hoop we've already seen, which is the biggest one, 200 by 360 millimeters. You get these grid sheets as well, which helps you with alignment. And then with this frame as well, there's also magnetic clips. So for anything that's too bulky to hoop up traditionally, you can use the magnets to keep the fabric in the frame. And then you've also got a slightly smaller one at 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters. And then 140 by 200 and a 140 by 140. You've also got an instruction book, your power lead, and some AcuStitch software. Now this is a download and it is a basic software package where you could create stitches that you would use on a sewing machine and turn them into an embroidery pattern, or there's certain shapes and things in there that you can use as well and turn into an embroidery pattern. There's also an extra wide extension table that sits on the end of the machine here, and that's really useful when you're using the big hoop, but also if you're embroidering something quite heavy. It just helps to support the weight of it. And then lastly, you've got a branded cover. It is just a soft cover, nice and wipe clean, but it helps to keep it protected. Now this machine weighs about 11.5 kilos, maybe just over, so it's not the most transportable, but you can if you want to. So next I'm going to show you how to thread the machine and we'll sew out some embroidery. When you switch the machine on, this is the screen that you're presented with. I'm just going to grab the stylus, and these are where our designs are. Now they are separated out into different folders, so you can see you've got smaller designs, some favourite ones, borders, geometric, nice big monogramming alphabet, some quilting designs, wedding ones, some in the hoop, some sashiko ones, and then if you need to calibrate a pattern, you can do so there. And then these are different folders, so there's designs within these. So I'm going to go into favorite designs, and let's choose the dinosaur. So the carriage arm now, which is what this is called, that the hoop's attached to, is going to move to center itself. There we go. And it's telling me that you can use the 140 by 140 millimeter hoop for that design. So if you just wanted to sew that out as is, you would now thread up the machine, pop your hoop in, and away you go. But we want to edit this design. So we go home and we go to the grid line, and then that's put our design on there. Now you can see it's still on the 140 by 140 hoop. I'm actually going to be using a bigger one. So I'm going to select the hoop symbol and tell it that I'm using that one. And now I know this is the area that I can design for that size hoop. So I'm going to flip him around the other way by using the mirror image, and I can pick him up and move him wherever I want it to be. I'm going to put him there, and you can do minor movements with these arrows as well, up, down, left, right. Over here you can make him bigger or make it smaller, whichever you want to do, and put it back to its normal size. And then if you want to add, actually I'm going to rotate him a bit more, so I'll show you how to do that. Let's go to rotate, and then you can rotate by 45 degrees if you want to, or you can do it by single degrees. So let's straighten him up a bit, about there, okay? And now I want to add the word raw coming out of his mouth. So I'm going to go back to the home screen and into the fonts. Here's where you can choose the type of font that you want to use. I'm going to stick with the Gothic. You can choose between small, medium and large. I'm going to go with small. You can change the size when we set it in a minute. And then I'm going to choose a capital R. Hang on, actually, let's do ... if it's coming out of his mouth. And then R, O, A, R. Okay, there are pages here, so you've got numbers, symbols, accents, all the things you're likely to use. Don't do that, that crosses out of there. So at least it gives me an opportunity to show you again. So you go home, into the alphabet. It stayed on my Gothic and all my other settings. So I'm going to do ... capital R, lowercase o, A, R, and then OK. So it'll always put the new design in the center, and we can just move that to where we want it to be. And as I say, this symbol here, we can still increase or decrease the size if we want to, okay? Now I want to curve it around slightly, so I'm going to go to the ABC with the curve, and then that's probably enough. I'm just going to increase the spacing between it there, okay? And then I might let's see what it looks like, just rotate it slightly. That's it, so it's on the same angle that's coming out of his mouth. And then I'm just going to move it that way slightly. Now I want to rotate it. Once you start playing, there we go. Now, if you want to see that up close, you can press the, what's the word I'm looking for? Magnifying glass, that's the one in here. And you can click on it and it comes up bigger, and you can click on it again and it comes up bigger again. So I can see his teeth are just there, and then that is coming out. So I might actually just move it that way and up a bit more. So you really can get it positioned exactly where you want it to be. So I'm going to press OK. I've told it that I want to use the 200 by 200, so that's what it's expecting. And then this is where we would embroider. Well, this is the embroidery screen for us to then embroider it out. So it's confirming again the hoop size. This is the size the design is going to be. It's going to stitch out at 600 stitches per minute. It takes 4 colours and 22 minutes. So we're going to get the machine threaded now. So the bobbin thread, this is embroidery bobbin thread, and you want to have the tail of thread to the left before you start, and then you move that to the right and the bobbin cover pops up, and you just drop the bobbin in and take it under this lip here, and then in and around the quickset, cut it off, and that's loaded, ready to go. You don't need to draw that up. So the first colour that it wants is white, which I don't have. So I'm going to choose grey instead. That's the only thing that the machine doesn't know, is what colour thread you are putting on it. Actually, if I go back a step while I'm on that, these are the colours that the design is in the machine. But if you wanted to sew him out in different colours, you just put whatever colour you want on the machine. But if you wanted to see what that's going to look like before you sew it out, if we go back and then go to this colour wheel. So I'm going to select the dinosaur, go to the colour wheel, and then it's showing me that part of the dinosaur. You might not be able to see that. So if I change that to green, a minute, oh, that's his mouth actually. So if I change that to grey, I can see what it's going to look like using my grey thread. So that's that part. And then this is under the belly, which I've got a pale pink. And then at the back there, I've got a darker pink, something like that. And then lastly, his little accent bits there, I'm going to keep as black. So I can go, okay. And now I can see what it's going to sew out like. Looks a bit more like a sharp, but I don't mind that because it's roaring. So I'm going to go, okay. And then here it's got different colours now for me to choose. You can, in the settings, there are listed in there popular brands of thread, so you can choose them and it will tell you the exact colour if you wanted to do it that way. So to thread the needle then, you want to pop your spool cap off and put your reel of thread on there and put the spool cap back on. And then grab the end and you're following the numbered thread paths. So you're going in behind there, around and under. Down here, now I can see the take-up lever isn't where I need it to be, so I'm just going to drop the needle down. So that's now there for me to thread through that one. That's number 4. And then number 5, 6 is at the very top of the needle, and then number 7 is the needle threader. And you're taking the thread up through those two there, and then cutting it off on the cutter. I'm going to drop the presser foot to give it a bit more room, and you just go down and up, and you can see the thread is in the back there. So I'm going to raise the presser foot again and grab my hoop. Now I've already put in here some cutaway stabiliser and some felt. So I'm going to raise the presser foot to the extra lift to get the hoop in. And then these lock into position. So to unlock, you keep that pushed to one side, and then you're lining these up with these 2 pins. So I'm just going to push that on, and then you lock it into position. Now by default, you will always be in the centre of the hoop, and unless you tell it otherwise, that is where a design will land. But say if you're working on a garment, or you want to put your design specifically somewhere on a piece of fabric, then you can line that up. So I've drawn a very faint line here, and I'm going to try and line his feet up on that line basically. So if we go to these arrows here, what I can do is send the needle down to this bottom left corner. So at the moment, that is where the bottom of the design is going to start. So if you like, it puts the design in a box. So that is that area just there. I need to move the design along and down a bit. So I can move it here. So I'm going to go along that way and down a bit. And then I'm going to check my position again. And I know that I need to come further down. And there. And I'm going to check again. Now I've gone too far. You get the idea. Okay, that's about there. You get the idea. And these you can do, it will take the needle to any of the corners. So I can see it's going to stitch up to there, across to there, and then down to this corner here. If you want to do the whole box, you just press the one in the middle and it's going to trace out the whole box for you. And that's where you can use those gridded templates as well to help you with positioning. That is actually quite a way off that line. So I am going to go up a little bit more. Right, let's go for that. I could be playing around here all day. So once you've got your positioning correct, you can take the arrows away and you can see the first colour that it wants is the grey, which is what we've put on. So I am going to drop the presser foot and press start. So when it finishes with the colour, it tells you to raise the presser foot, ready for threading the next one. So I'm going to take out this colour, and you can see that number one with the grey has disappeared. And now it's ready for the lighter pink. So you just thread it in exactly the same way. So in and around, under, down, around, in that one, up to the needle threader, drop the presser foot, that's the needle threaded, and then off you go. So I've done all my colour changes and the design is now finished, so I'm going to raise the presser foot. And if you wanted to stitch out another one exactly the same, you would just take your hoop out, load up your fresh fabric and start all over again. But let's show you the results up close. So up close now you can see what a lovely job it's done of the dense satin stitches. They're all very neat and there's no gaps in there. And it's also done really well with the intricate pieces too. Now because it's got the thread cutter built in, all the jump stitches between the sections that it's embroidering are taken care of for us. And with the editing feature in there, I did get it right on the line here where I wanted it to, even though I used a vanishing pen, so the line is fading now. But also the raw really does look like it's coming out of his mouth. Now on the reverse, it's nice and neat and you can see those tail ends where the thread cutter is snipping them off, and this is what you want to see. So you want to see a bit of the top thread coming around to the bottom, because what you don't want is for the bobbin thread to be showing on the top. So that's a perfect result. This machine comes with 2-year warranty. Now you can extend that by a further 1 year, 2 year or 3 years, and this card in the box will tell you how to do that, but that has to be done within 30 days of purchase of the machine. But don't forget that we are here at the sewing studio as well. We are a mix of sewers and embroiderers and we know our machines inside out. So if there's anything that you need, don't hesitate to get in touch. So I hope I've managed to demonstrate to you just how easy the Janome 550E is to use and how it could be your answer to your creative design ideas. If you've decided that this is the right machine for you, then head to thesewingstudio.co.uk. Pick up yours now. Delivery is fast and it's free.